You are now tuned in to Poppy Chulo Radio, your web portal for the best in pop culture news and interviews.
You are a whore, darling.
No, I'm not.
This is a Poppy Chulo Radio special announcement. PoppyChuloRadio.com is currently looking to expand its web presence, and we're looking for your help. If you're a fan of Poppy Chulo Radio and its signature series, please visit GoFundMe.com/PoppyChuloRadio and help us with our campaign. Every dollar amount donated will be improving the Poppy Chulo Radio experience and making it more interactive and user-friendly. We thank you in advance for your support. This has been a Poppy Chulo Radio special announcement. We now return you to our regularly scheduled programming. The following is a Poppy Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Poppy Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Summer Camp, a PoppyChuloRadio.com and iTunes exclusive. Poppy Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. I'm your host and camp director, Maurice Gatewood. Tonight on Summer Camp, we're going to explore some of Hollywood's campiest flicks, cult classic motion pictures, and fan favorite films. Please welcome my co-host, assistant director, Dead Lee, the hip-hop legend. What's going on?
What up, Spotted Dick? What up?
Exactly. Director of Residential Life, the man from the future, Legionnaire.
Greetings, campers.
All right, and always giving us something exciting and new, our activity leader, Vanetta Berry, also known as The Artist. What's up, Vanetta?
Hi, everybody. I'm here.
And always serving it up hot and spicy, our head chef, Derek Anthony.
Tonight, we are only serving hot dogs.
Okay. Spicy hot dogs?
Spicy hot dogs.
Okay. That's good enough. But before we begin, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro, and sorry for the microphone feedback. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR SummerCamp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-pcr.tumblr.com. Follow Poppy Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Poppy Chulo Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychuloradio.com. Help support Poppy Chulo Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChuloRadio. Help support Poppy Chulo Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChuloRadio. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chulo Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@poppychuloradio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chulo Radio programs by visiting poppychuloradio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chulo Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Now, grab some popcorn and some snacks. It's time for your feature presentation. Back to you, camp counselors. Oh, not again. Sorry for the feedback.
Thank you. All right, it's time to fire up the film projector so that we can discuss 1980's I Want to Be a Beauty Queen. Here is the official synopsis of the film. Brace yourself for the campiest beauty pageant to ever grace a runway. The fur flies and the glitter abounds as the stars arrive for the event of the social season. The bustling tent is steeped with contestants of all shapes and sizes. That's it, y'all. That was it. I do believe it's longer, but I didn't want to give you the whole spiel there.
You kind of left us hanging.
Leave you dangling. Okay, so as usual, who has seen this before? Vanetta, have you seen it before?
Not seen this movie before. This is like the most bizarre. This is quite a bizarre movie. I was not expecting at all. So no, I have not seen it before. I'm just still kind of in shock.
Deadly.
No, first time seeing it, and I love me a pageant, but first time seeing this.
Derek.
First time ever. Yeah.
And Legionnaire, how many times have you seen this movie?
I have seen this movie many, many, many times.
All right, so I was a virgin too. I'd never seen it. So let's just dive on in. Let me pull out my notes here. So how many of you are documentary fans?
I'm raising my hand.
Not me.
I am, depending on the subject of the doco.
Vanetta, you're
I'm not.
not.
I had a hard time with this one.
I think I watch more. I think I watch more documentaries than any other kind of movie. Not going to the theater, but like on my various accounts that I stream. I think I end up watching more documentaries than any other kind of movie. So I didn't know, believe it or not, I didn't know that this was a documentary when it was announced that it would be one of our movies. So you can imagine when I first saw the beginning, I was kind of like, what's happening? You know? And then when I realized it was a documentary, I was like, yay! So
I waited about 15 minutes for the actual story to kick in, and it never did.
So
I don't like documentaries, so for me it was like, okay, this is weird. This is bizarre. Oh man, like it was really hard. It was very like painful for me because I just kept wanting there to be a full story, not just like these little vignettes about the people that were on the show, and I couldn't understand the people who were doing the voiceover. A lot of it I kept getting muffled. I don't know if the audio was just bad, but it was aggravating. I couldn't do it.
But the type of documentary that it was very much in the style of, say, Grey Gardens, or it was documentaries are very slick. You know what I mean? They got graphics, they got animation, they got this. This is just very much like an old school kind of documentary, which a lot of people can be kind of hard to watch because it really is. It's random. It's like really what's happening at the time. It's not like super edited or
But that's it. There was no storyline to it though. Like at least when I was waiting for something to connect it all. Like at least when you have Paris is Burning, there's something that connects it all together. This just didn't have anything that connected it together. It's just like you're watching someone's home video.
I don't agree. The connecting story is the contest. That is the story.
I mean, I think there was for me
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Maurice.
No, I was gonna say, and I felt like it was the connecting theme was just people like it didn't matter if you won or lost. It was just like it was this thing that brought a bunch of people together, and it was even people who were like recluses, they came out for this, and it brought together like people like high art and sort of randomness, like people who had, like, to me it looked like a precursor to Comic-Con. It was very much like that, and you had people that were like professional artists and then costumers or whatever, and then you had this one woman where they're like, how long did it take you to get your costume? She was like 10 minutes.
I want a wig.
I like that idea. Like everybody was welcome. But go on, Legionnaire.
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, the idea, I mean, just to give like a little background. Well, I have two things to say around it. I mean, the first thing that attracted me to this movie was the fact that Little Nell opened it up. I didn't really know much about it other than the fact that, I was a fan of the Rocky Horror Show. Little Nell was in it. Divine was a judge of some crazy contest, and it kind of started from there. But then as I after viewing the movie, it made me very curious about the genesis of this actual contest. And this contest is a thing.
Yeah, it's still going on.
Yeah, that Andrew Logan has done like 13 times. The last one he did was in 2014. So it's just, I mean, it's really fascinating to me how it's a celebration. Well, at least to me, it's a celebration of other. Just whatever's like way out there, different, weird, freaky, artistic, and it just kind of, I see it as something that kind of crosses all the lines as, to what really is an undercurrent of what exists in the world. Yeah, you have what's out there and what's pretty and what we see and what we know and what we understand. But then you have this whole underpinning of stuff that goes on that's just odd. And that oddity is celebrated. And that's always been kind of my own personal mantra. I mean, I like being odd. I like being unique. I like being different. I like being unusual. And to me, this movie is a celebration of that. This contest is a huge celebration of that. So I thought it was really cool. I mean, I was clear that it would not be for everyone's taste, but it's something that I really like, and
So, but don't you think it's funny that, like, in this event where the odd is so celebrated, that people that came out like with something that was really mundane was the most outrageous? Like somebody would come out kind of dressed like a librarian, or like something like almost ordinary would stick out, like the one like the one girl that was doing Marilyn Monroe. You'd have someone who's like really far out doing something really far out. Then you'd have someone sort of dressed as a character that was really, just like that looked like a little housewife or something, and that would stand out because it was just so mundane.
Exactly. I mean, even the most mundane would stand out amongst the other freakishness of the other contestants. So I don't know. I enjoyed it very much.
Did anybody recognize anything that we see now that was derivative of something that came from this? I can think of one thing.
A lot.
I can think of one thing right off. The shoes with no heels.
Yes, I have a pair. They're awesome.
Yeah. Now, did you think that is that something that you knew had been done before, or were you surprised to see it?
I was surprised to see it because it was, and then the way she was walking, I was just like, what is she doing? Why is she walking that way? Oh, I see. Her shoes have no heel.
Right.
This is very interesting.
I thought, I was like, wow, you know. Derek, you were saying you seen.
I was just going to say that I did see something. I saw an outfit that Vivacious wore from RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah. There are a couple contestants from RuPaul's Drag Race that are kind of in tune with the 80s. The one I think of right off is the what was her name? She always said water off a duck's back. What was her name? Remember her?
Yes, she won that year.
She always said water.
Jinx Monsoon.
Jinx Monsoon, who actually did a character from Grey Gardens, Little Evie.
Little Evie, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, some of the girls that are attuned to this sort of 80s and alternative culture, I find very interesting, as opposed to those ones that just want to dress up as Britney Spears. And
I would say even Gaga was influenced by this, because I saw some Gaga-esque looking stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw that
easily.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wearable art that I saw was like, oh, I've seen this, and I could see where others have polished those designs off, or like the lady who just like every time she just body painted. I was like, go ahead.
Miss Earth,
Miss Earth,
yeah, Jill. And I thought she would appeal to you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's pretty funny.
Was she the one completely nude but dignified, or was that someone else?
Yes, nude but dignified.
Yeah,
because she's in body paint, and she has clouds on her hoo-ha. I was like, okay. It was around then that I couldn't listen anymore. It was just, I did enjoy the visuals, I will say. It was the verbal. I was just like, oh God, stop.
Yeah. I mean, the content in and of itself is more interesting than a lot of the commentary. I could see what some of the commentary could be, because they weren't calling, a lot of it was that they weren't calling some of the contestants by the correct names. So you would hear names, it's like, okay, I don't see who you're talking about, and it's because they got the names wrong.
Well, did Divine just popped off the plane and showed up there, and they handed her a paper, because she
pretty much
like she was with it, and she was asking the same questions. What's your favorite food? I'm like, girl.
But I mean, I think even Divine realized
that day. She flew in that day. They had her at whatever little feedback hotel they were going to put her in. It's like, "Ooh, come on, girl, get in the car. We're going to drive you to this thing." And so
I think even Divine realized that those questions and stuff didn't matter. I mean, I think the whole point of this thing is to make fun of everything, even the whole question portion of the contest. They spoofed it all. But one of my personal favorites was the kid, the art student, who did the I think at the end he kind of did like this zombie
oh yeah, Miss Winsdale nuclear reactor.
I liked him, the one that kind of freaked on Divine when he got to
with the slime.
Yeah, I liked his looks.
John maybe.
Did anyone have a favorite? Who was everyone's favorite?
I didn't really have one.
There was some, like the one that they actually crowned the winner. It was funny because I almost felt like they went with a safe winner. Like, I mean, his looks, that first look with the fur and stuff, I mean, that was fabulous, I was pulling for the older lady that had the nice body.
Oh yeah.
I liked her, that one look she came out with.
Miss Moonshine, and she entered that contest like 5 different times, and she would always compete like that, where she was like nearly naked in her presentations.
She looked good. I like the look she had with the doves sort of around her head.
Mm-hmm.
I I like the contestants that had stuff that sort of moved, or
the one that lit a fire on his head. I like that one.
That was Miss Earth.
Yeah, that was Miss Earth. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, that's
Miss Earth.
Right.
Yeah, she was definitely good. Some of the ones that I felt like were a little like oh, my husband made this, and the one I kind of didn't pull for them, because I like the idea of someone doing their own, like, kind of creating their own, looks and stuff, but
Miss Proposition, that's what I like.
Yeah,
some of those were, I mean, some of those really polished looks, I appreciated them, but I was like, they weren't goofy enough. They weren't sort of, You
wanted something out of the norm.
Yeah, I wanted something like, that was had a little grunge to it, maybe. Not so polished. Did anyone appreciate the fabulous afros at the beginning?
Oh yeah, always like a good afro.
Those were some beautiful afros. I know they're beautiful people too.
I know when Miss Carriage did those stairs, I was like, "Bitch, you got me."
Oh, the one
because she worked them stairs, honey. She was fearless on them stairs. I said, "Good God," because you could tell how steep they were even before they were like giving the camera. See people stumbling. But when she came out with that first outfit, she didn't even look down. She just pulled her dress up, pulled the hoop up, and descended the stairs. I said, "Bitch, no, ma'am."
Well, I like the one that kind of rolled and posed as she was going down the stairs.
Yeah,
I love that. It's
so did anybody notice that like 5 people fell off the stage?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was just
I didn't know if that was on purpose or.
Did somebody just not calculate how wide the stage needed to be, because it was way too narrow?
I think a lot of people didn't calculate how much cocaine they were. Okay, this was 1970.
It is hard to take those type of stairs when you high.
Right.
Yeah.
I do. Legionnaire, I do have to disagree with you on something.
What's that?
The commentary. I was living for it. Because it was.
I didn't really have a problem with it, but I could understand why some people would.
It was so, because sometimes it was so matter of fact, especially when they were talking about Wolverhampton.
Oh, Miss Wolverhampton Municipal Law.
Was it Wolverhampton?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, "Oh, I almost had a miscarriage in Wolverhampton." And he's like,
"So
Molly, please." She's like, "I guess that's what you do when you're there."
Right.
I think it's the only thing to do if you're there, if you're ever there. I was like, what a horrible thing to say. And she was so matter of fact about it. I once had a miscarriage in Wolverhampton. But his reaction was like, "Molly, please."
Or with Divine, she's like, "I wonder if she's pregnant."
I wonder if she can.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I was like, very random and not possible, but.
Right.
But
all things are possible.
Did anyone else have any favorite quotes?
Just that food. What is your favorite food? And someone said spotted dick.
That was a good one.
Spotted dick.
Yeah, so Miss Bronx.
And of course, when she said, "You were always a dancer, Maurice," I was like, "I know." Yeah, but I thought there were a lot of funny, sort of like not meant to be funny things that they said. Like they were just like. They were commenting on things, and it didn't always line up with what you were seeing on the screen. But I love how she was just sort of, especially about Miss Piss. You know, a lot of people don't like her, but I rather think she's, you know. It's just like, she was just like she was so forgiving and so supportive of everyone. You know, she was just so positive about, you know, and a lot of people don't like it, but I don't see why. As she's holding a bucket under her cooch, but I don't understand why people don't like it. I'm like, that might be the reason, baby.
And all I can that pot, is she gonna throw it on somebody? No,
but that's the point. When she came out the first time, wasn't she getting pissed on people? Because she didn't have the pot the first time.
She had like glitter or something in her panties that she was throwing out at people, and then as a gag, somebody threw the pot up there, and so she just went with it.
I thought she was
pot as a gag.
What's that?
Who brings the pot? Just random pot.
People who go to this show.
Right. I mean,
we get ready to go to the contest. Did you forget anything? Oh wait, I forgot to get the pot.
Well, they probably had stuff. They probably had a pot to catch the rain coming through the roof. That place looks so.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, did anyone kind of get like when I was looking at it, I kind of thought, you know, I don't know how long the Met Gala has been going on in these days, but I wonder if like the event like this influences like other fashion events. Like it's a spoof of something, but it also inspires. I think it probably, while it was spoofing regular beauty pageants, people were looking at this and kind of taking it into the fashion world. You know how the fashion world is. You know, every other season there's a Blade Runner line. You know, where people dress futuristic,
innovative.
Right, when people, they call it innovative, but it's people dressed with 40s hairstyles with futuristic clothes on, you know, it's like, oh, another Blade Runner collection, you know. So you know how things have influence on the fashion world, like with the shoes, the heelless shoes and stuff. I like the futuristic looks, the ones like with the big spikes, and there was a gold spacesuit look also. That I thought was cool. I don't know. I just liked all. I just like when they were having the contestants come out. I was like, I couldn't wait to see what was going to come out next. You know, that's what I enjoyed about this movie the most. And I thought the storyline was that there wasn't like a strict way to do things. Like, you know, if someone fell and bust their ass, that's okay. You know, they could still be celebrated. You know, you know. A few years ago, there was this girl in one of the big pageants, and she fell on the stage, and gosh, she got so much hate mail, and you know,
she didn't do it on purpose.
Right, like she threw herself down. You know, and you know that kind of thing, and then the questions. You know, it's always funny when a beauty pageant contestant like blows a question, like the one girl that I forget was like a Miss Teen. I forget where she was from, and they were asking her a question, and she sounded drunk. She sounded drunk. I mean, I love stuff like that. You know, so you know, all of us have been on stage before. You know. And it's just like, there's that part of you that's like, ooh, I'm so glad that's not me, you know. And I don't know, this whole thing kind of thumbs its nose at all that sort of protocol and all that stuff. That's what I loved about it. So if you had an opportunity, would you go to an event like this?
I would.
Absolutely.
Front row.
Absolutely, yes.
I'd be in an event like this. Actually,
I was just gonna say, I would enter something like this. I would enter something like this.
Maybe Poppy Chulo Radio has to have one.
There you go.
Yes. We can
put it out there, and it'll happen.
We can dress Poppy up like a futuristic,
ball of fire.
Futuristic zombie sex whore.
Oh.
Yes. You could be the next LA Zombie Part 2.
Yes, and then Deadly won't have that awful methy person like trying to steal his scene.
Oh, yeah, I can finally do my scene. Yes.
Yes, dick out everything. We're gonna make that happen.
You people are so transparent.
So yeah, I don't know if I would be in something like this, but I would definitely go. But would it be like, I'm sure the way this was, I mean, was it like, do you think it cost a lot to get in, or was it by invitation, or because there was some really like high society people there, like
that's who you know probably.
Yeah,
it's probably a Studio 54 type deal.
It seemed kind of like an exclusive. Like one of the sort of assistants, she was part of the DuPont family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone's ever seen.
That's why I heard that.
But I mean, it's a thing where, I mean, it was definitely a thing where you could buy tickets to, but it just wasn't. I mean, it wasn't one of those things that was widely advertised, but people in the know knew of what it was, and it was kind of in those circles,
right?
Like the Players Ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Players Ball or the Porn Award.
Right, the Hustler Ball or whatever the other thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I immediately thought of another documentary when I heard the name DuPont, of Team Foxcatcher. I know you don't like. I know you don't like documentaries, Vanetta, but if you watch this, it plays just like a movie. Yeah, they actually made a movie called Foxcatcher based on it, but the documentary is so crazy that...
Is this the wrestling thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen it. Okay, I'll check it out.
And there's some really, of course,
you just like those guys in their one piece thing.
Oh, guys in one pieces, got it.
Very, 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 very intense, and just like this guy just loses his mind. It's really good. But anyway, so the one daughter was 17.
But she looked old.
She looked a lot.
She did look old.
Yeah, Sarah.
She had the funniest line at the end of the movie, though.
Was it Sophie? What was her name?
She was the one who did Marilyn, right?
Yeah, Sophie.
Yeah.
She said, no one's ever told you that you look like Marilyn Monroe? She was like, but I am Marilyn Monroe. She got a bitch for that, but I was like, bitch. I was like, she worked that one. She worked it, but I am Marilyn Monroe. She looked more like her than Michelle Williams did. Poppy's gonna be like, can't you get through an episode without trashing an actor? Michelle Williams played Marilyn Monroe. I don't remember the name of the movie, but I was like, she does not look like Marilyn Monroe. But yeah, I thought she had and for the mother to let her, be a part of it, I thought was pretty cool.
And actually, Molly had entered at one point, 1 year too. I forget which year she entered.
Didn't she kind of lead one woman, like she enters every year and I always beat her? It was something. She said about one of the contestants that she entered with her and she always beat her or something, or she beat her the year that she entered. But there were also some cute little reads in there too. I'm actually gonna watch it again For those of you who are just like cringing at the thought, I do think that one, because I think there's a lot you miss. I think you miss. This is the kind of movie I think you kind of have to watch more than once. You know, and it's one of those movies that I know I will be watching by myself because I want my relationship to last. So I can make somebody else watch it with me. So
no, please don't subject your significant other to that.
But I'll most likely be watching it.
Right. If I come to town, we can have a viewing together.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, this seems like something I probably would have enjoyed it better if I weren't watching it by myself. And again, trying to not like let my daughter hear the random craziness that's being said.
It is.
Yeah, it's different.
I found it to be a good party movie. I've done it when I was in the service. It was a good party movie. Interestingly enough.
I can see that. I could definitely see that. I mean, like, you're gonna watch a movie like Paris is Burning, and there's a lot of fun parts, but there's some tragic shit in that documentary.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
So that would not work. But this movie definitely, I can see it working as a party movie. I don't know. I had fun watching it. I don't know.
I thought the host could have come out with a better costume. The half man, half woman's been done since the beginning of time. I don't know. It's just.
Well, but you also have to remember this was 78 when this contest happened. So it wasn't as prolific as it probably has been since, and not even to imply that it originated, but it's always been his thing.
Or does he do that every year?
Yeah, well, he does.
Half man, half woman. Oh,
yeah, half man, and there's but they do different things. But it's always half man, half woman, and this year the theme happened to be circus, so that's
all right. Maybe I just don't like this.
I thought he was.
Because he's definitely had better costumes, but every theme is different. So like one year he did the elements, and then there was a year where they did fire and water. It's definitely interesting. But
I like that.
It's always the theme of man and woman.
Okay.
I thought he was doing a take. I thought he was intentionally doing a cliche, like a spoof of a circus cliche, And I like the way they did the music. I thought they did the music, the way they did the transitions in the music and the sound system. And I'm surprised that they didn't have more, with shit falling over and things breaking and people falling off stage, that the music always seemed to be, well suited for what was going on. Except that one time, who was that screamed? And the sound person was like, "Oh my God, did you see that? Remember that scene?" Someone screamed, and the guy doing the sound was just like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, when the girl was singing during the intermission.
Yeah, that was the one part where I thought about fast forwarding, but I was like, no, let me sit through it. But when she was singing, I thought about kind of, do I want to sit through the whole thing? But
as much as I watched this movie, that's I usually, most times I move through that piece.
That's the one part I think you get it the first time. I don't think there was any nuances or anything. Right. Oh, did you see that mouse crawl across the floor when she was singing? No, you gotta watch it again. I don't think I need to experience that again. But yeah. So, we talked about our favorites. Did anybody have a least favorite?
Least favorite. Remember that fornication one? He was what?
Oh, the one with the person that kept following around with the big fake.
I hate
you
fornication.
You thought they were kind of tired?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's
the
talking
lady
about
with the hands on his crotch.
No, I think Dead Lee is talking about Miss Wolverhampton Municipal Baths when during her interviews. I hate for it.
Yeah, that one.
Oh,
it was kind of annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you're high and don't know what to say on top of that, you know. I don't know if I had a least favorite. Maybe the three guys. I thought they were kind of like, they were a little obnoxious.
Miss Bronx and her queens.
Yeah. I was like, Lord. But one of them was named Maurice. What's up, Derek?
I can't give you a least favorite. I'm sorry. I will never come on here having not watched the movie that we're supposed to watch, and I watched it, and I just at no point was there ever any connection between me and this movie. It was literally, it was just on, and I mean, I was like, "Can I go
noise in the background?"
Here? I just
well, this is your opportunity because I'm asking, what was your least favorite? Did you have
like the whole thing?
The time it came on and then the time it went off.
Oh,
did you not hear me say I was thinking about watching Showgirls again?
Oh Lord,
Legionnaire. You know what I am gonna do though, because I watched this whole thing on my phone and I feel like it's not a phone movie. So, like, maybe I need to watch it on the bigger screen TV.
Watch it again. Legionnaire, I want to ask you, what was that song? Okay, at the end of the movie, they played the Village People song, right? What was the song after that?
Oh, I remember. It was Donna Summer.
And it sounded like kind of like it had like 1920s in the background.
Yeah, it was Donna Summer.
Oh, I like that song. I was like, I don't know who that is, but I think I might get it. That was just a little aside, y'all. Right? I guess I could have asked him after we stopped taping, but you know, we share everything. So did anyone feel like, well, I'm gonna get your real opinions in a few minutes, but for those of you who like documentaries, that was passive aggressive, I know. But those of you who actually like documentaries, do you think this works as a documentary? Or what?
I already told you. No, I told you. I didn't think it had enough heart. I mean, Legionnaire can argue with me, but I just like a little more storyline. I mean, it just kind of like shot from beginning to end. Like even like you were comparing to Grey Gardens, but Grey Gardens still, even after watching that, there was the editing was at least better. I just felt like this could have been edited better, and maybe even concentrated on a few of the contestants a little more, give them a little more screen time. That way we get to know them even better. There was just going all over the place, and some close-ups. We need some more close-ups or something. The camera work. Get up on the stage, something.
Well, I think maybe it had, it didn't have enough heart. I think maybe it had all heart and not enough structure.
Maybe
that I will agree with. Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot of structure to it. It was very randomly shot. It was just footage of the contest, basically, and there was commentary by some of those folks who were there and who were judging. So yeah, I mean, I get that.
But see, at the very beginning, I thought it was going to be that way because they started saying, "Oh, this is so and so in the back," but then they didn't really come back to them that much. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, can we maybe see them again?
Yeah.
Like, what are they doing now?
Obviously not.
At least for the Grey Gardens, the producer, whoever that was, there were times during Grey Gardens when he was asking them questions, so there was some kind of, there was definitely, and it wasn't all shot in a day, So yeah, I see what you mean. Derek, you obviously did not love this
So I'm going to throw up some anti-shade because I actually do like documentaries. When Netflix started putting all kinds of documentaries on Netflix, I was really happy. Like, I am in the middle of watching the 80s by CNN right now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but yeah, there's no story for me to latch onto here. It is like when I used to work at a nightclub in Chicago, and I recorded the people coming in doing shows and stuff. This was a lot like that. It's just me recording stuff that's happening on stage, but there was nothing personal for me to latch onto. There was nothing nostalgic for me to latch onto. Yeah, so I watched like the first half an hour, and then I went and took a nap because it was putting me to sleep. And then I got up, and then I started over again. And I said, oh, no, I'm not going to sit through this first half an hour again. And then I went to where I had stopped and kept going.
I like my documentaries with a little more pain in it, though. I guess that's it. Just a little more. You felt like that Paris is Burning was too dark sometimes. But see, I like that. And at least you see sometimes through the pain, they come out something through the pain.
Because again, there's a story. There's something for there's something for you to root for. Or in the CNN, when they're doing the 80s, because they do, I think it's 6 or 7 episodes, and they pick a topic. And I was watching. The last one I watched was Video Killed the Radio Star. So I got to see this whole evolution of 80s music via music videos. And I was there for that. So that was something I could latch onto.
I think and I'm gonna get to you, Legionnaire and Vanetta. I think what was interesting about this movie, for me, too, was the end when everybody came up on stage and you actually got to see who was in the audience. And a lot of people in the audience weren't that colorful or that interesting. It was like, that's what I was kind of thinking. Was this some kind of almost like, it was a kind of voyeuristic type experience? And was it like a high society thing? Because a lot of them look very posh, as the British would say. And, and this is during that kind of odd time between the late 70s and the 80s, like where the music was even sort of disco-ish, but kind of moving into something else. And I don't know. I found that really kind of interesting. Legionnaire, you obviously think this movie works as a documentary.
Yeah, I think it absolutely does. I mean, I understand that it's one of those things that's clearly not for everybody. I don't know that a documentary has to have a story in it per se, but that's just me. I mean, again, the story, and for me, the story is the contest and the people's creativity in entering this contest. So I think there is a story, but again, I mean, it's all in the perception, and I think could there have been things that have done differently that could have expanded on the actual contestants and the history of the contest and all that stuff? Absolutely. But it was certainly interesting enough for me that I followed the history of the contest, even into its current incarnation. And it always has been this really bizarre celebration of drag and art and underground and everything, and that has always been pretty appealing to me. So it's one of the reasons why I recommended it as a film that we review. And again, I mean, I went into this fully knowing that there would be people that just would not connect to it, but I do. I connect to it on a number of levels, and if that just happens to reveal something about me, then I'm cool with that too.
All right, Vanetta.
Yeah.
She's like, well, yeah. So I I guess I guess there's no strict sort of formula for a documentary. Like I said, this is a very sort of it's a particular style of documentary. It's almost like a very pure style of documentary because documentaries can be very subjective. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know I watch a lot of documentaries about corporate greed and racism, this, that, that. And I know my mind is sort of already kind of made up. Like, you are kind of, it's like finding the news from the news sources that you like, you know, but like just for watching like Ava DuVernay's 13th, you know, that's the kind of documentary that I think most people are kind of used to watching now. Something that's very particular, and that's a wonderful documentary. But this is like, I think it's like kamikaze documentary, like just like the camera and we're in the experience, and you know, this is what it is.
For me, I think it was just. All right, go ahead.
No, I
have a lot of feelings about it.
Let's hear it.
Speak on it, girl.
Share.
Okay, so here's the way I took it. For one, when it came on, I was incredibly disoriented. I watched. I didn't know what was going on, and I thought, okay, is this a movie about the Queen of England? Is she the beauty queen? And so then I tried to find it on IMDb, which is what I normally do when I start a movie and I'm like disoriented. What is this about? Did I get myself into something crazy? Couldn't find it because it's listed under another name. So I was really disoriented, and then this talking started, but I don't know if it's the volume on my screen or what, but it was more disorienting to me after she sang her song. When she sang her song, I was like, oh, this could be cool. All right, let's see what this is about. And then the people started talking, and it was really unclear because I thought it was the people that they were showing on screen talking that were talking, and then it took me a minute before I realized that no, there are voiceover people. There are people holding a mic that we don't see. And so it was a lot of unclearness for me that made it feel incredibly disorienting. And I guess I should clarify, I don't hate documentaries. I just am very uncomfortable with the way this was shot. There are some documentaries that I'm like, oh, yes, I'm loving it. But like you said earlier, those are documentaries that I buy into whatever it's about. Mm-hmm. And I felt like someone had spun me around in a circle and then like made me walk into a room and I didn't know where anything was. That's how I felt emotionally trying to figure out what was going on. And Ligier, I understand why you wanted to watch it, and I got it. So in order not to lose the process and just be totally turned off, I did watch the whole thing, watched a lot of it on mute because I couldn't handle the commentary. So it was, oh God, what do you say? No, I can't hear you right now. So I had to turn it down a lot. But the visuals were awesome, and I loved it. I loved looking at the costumes. I do a lot of cosplay, body art. So for me, visually, loved it. Not so much on the auditory and the way it was set up and the camera angles.
The narrative or the lack thereof. Well, this is the part of the show where I look to see what awards this movie may have won. And it actually was nominated to the Chicago International Film Festival. Chicago. It was nominated for a Gold Hugo, a Best Documentary in 1980. So there's that. But of course, the awards that matter most are the Papi Chulo Radio Summer Camp Awards. So we're gonna work our way through some awards, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Okay.
Oh, come on.
The first award is the best use of nudity.
Oh, that nude one. The Earth. Is it Miss Earth?
The bubble wrap lady.
Yeah.
Miss Earth?
Yeah, I would have to say Miss Earth.
I liked her too.
Yeah. Okay, who was the Queen of Shade?
Shade.
Legionnaire knows the names. I don't know the names.
What's her name? I can't think of her name right now.
Not Divine was actually
Divine was pretty shady.
But she wasn't shady enough. She was kind of low key for Divine.
She was kind of bubbly.
Yeah.
She was
Divine,
bubbly,
yeah.
and her look was kind of tame.
She had jet lag or something.
Yeah, she flew across the ocean, so you know.
She was kind of tame. She was kind of mellow. Maybe she was like on Ludes or something. Because Divine usually, her look was even very toned down. It was very soft. It was a very soft look for her.
Yeah, that's true.
Fine. So, okay, what was the barf bag moment?
Piss lady?
Miss Piss.
That's fine.
Piss in the pot.
Oh.
What about the good ship lollipop, most saccharine?
The good shit lollipop.
Did you say shit?
No. I was doing my Cindy Brady good ship.
Oh no.
Deadly, I need to see a picture of you in pigtails now.
See.
Oh.
The most saccharine sweet moment. Maybe little Miss Marilyn Monroe. And her little green bathing suit.
Yeah, because she was really trying to serve up Marilyn mannerisms and poses and stuff. That was.
Bless her heart.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Derek.
I just said bless her heart.
Yeah, bless her heart. But I fell in love with Miss Moonshine.
Yes, I did too. So here's one, and I know Derek is gonna jump on this one. What the fuck am I watching moment? The WTF moment.
Here's the thing. Vanetta kind of described it personally. Kind of described it perfectly when it came on, and I was like, okay, the London Tower, okay. So it really was kind of after the woman did her little dance on the stage, and then they went to the contest, and I was like, okay, what the fuck is happening here?
Yes.
I will say, like, when the song stopped and my screen went black, I was like, oh shit, what happened to my, I thought about
mine too.
I thought my tablet, because I was watching it on my tablet. I was like, oh shit, did I forget to charge my tablet or something? But that was a little jarring, the way the song just kind of ended. I was just like, okay, that's the end of the song. Okay, so best musical number?
Well, for me, it was Lil Nell, because it definitely was an old girl singing in the intermission. That was my WTF moment.
What about the little couple when they were singing? Remember the little couple that was singing? The man had the high voice. Well, the next one is the worst musical number.
Yeah, so the worst is easy.
The worst was too easy to guess. All right, so the moment of truth has arrived. We are going to rate this film on a scale from 1 to 10 marshmallows. And I'm going to start with Legionnaire.
Well, for me, it's easy. I appreciated the bizarre, but the bizarreness of it, it definitely appealed to my unique nature, and I will give it 8 marshmallows.
All right. And next we have, drum roll please, Deadly.
I'm gonna be a little hard on this because I love documentaries, and I guess just the kind of like needs to be like a little more deeper. I just like a deeper documentary, little bigger character study documentary, and this was not giving me that, so I'm gonna give it a 3.
A little hard. I think that was like raging. That was a raging hard on. Okay. I hate to see when you're fully erect.
Nope.
All right, Mr. Anthony.
Okay, so this is hard because this is not Showgirls. And I have given things a higher number because it was not Showgirls. I cannot do that. So I am going to give it 3 marshmallows. 1 marshmallow because it got made and it was released. And 1 marshmallow because I did recognize some of the artistry. And 1 marshmallow just kind of for pity's sake. Well, not for pity's sake, because my friend does like it. And I don't understand why, but I don't have to. So it gets 3.
I'm surprised. I thought you were going to give it the Vanetta Berry Burnt Stick Award.
The burnt stick, wow.
I really thought you were going to just give it the Burnt Stick Award. Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, I appreciate the 1 marshmallow in my honor.
You are quite welcome.
All right, Vanetta. Let's hear it.
Is it my turn? Okay, so I think I'm gonna Poppy Chulo this in that I am listening to Legionnaire, and because Legionnaire really did like it, and he gave me some good points on why he liked it. He gets 2 marshmallows, not the burnt stick. They are good marshmallows. They're not the best. I didn't enjoy the movie. I did enjoy the visuals. Perhaps if I watch it again with a group of friends, even maybe some slightly inebriated friends, it might be more fun. But I could not get into it. The vocals were just, they were irksome and disorienting. And the cuts, like Derek said, the cuts where it just like would just go to black. I kept checking my computer like, oh my God, what's going on? It's plugged in. It's still playing. Oh, and it was like silent and black. Like, who does that? So yeah, I was just really, really weird. But 2 burnt marshmallows.
All right. So I'm a little surprised here because I thought it would be Legionnaire would give the highest rating, and then I would probably, just from listening to the conversation, I would probably give it the 2nd highest rating, and then everything else would be a toss-up. But I had actually decided early on that I was going to give this 8 marshmallows. So Legionnaire and I are at the same level here. So, and then there's like a massive drop off, you know.
Yes, I will be honest and say that it got more marshmallows than I would have expected. So,
I really. And this is, and this is before the conversation. I really, I guess I just like the it was like a circus. I was going to say a circus without animals, but there was a poor and I'm glad that Peter or whoever wasn't around, because the poor thing fell off the stage with a human being on top of it. Did you see Did you see at the end when it was kind of on the floor and the person was stroking it? That doggy looked like
Right. It's like, can somebody please get me the fuck out of here?
You know, I can break your leg with one kick, right? You know. But there was something about it that I have to admit, a lot of the documentaries that I watch, like I watch a lot of documentaries, but a lot of them are more. I have to admit, I don't go back and watch older documentaries as much as I watch newer ones, because the newer ones are a little more slick and they are formatted a little better, and they do have kind of a built-in narrative. And sometimes going back and watching the older ones that are in this style can be a little harder to watch. But I like that. Like, I'm like Legionnaire. I thought the narrative was that it was all these people coming together for this sort of
not enough narrative,
anti-establishment type, you know. I love how Danley was like, "You full of shit. Just stop talking." You know, it was that kind of interjection, like, "Fuck you, you talking shit," kind of interjection. No, but I like that. I like that. It was this kind of like this sort of free, you know, kind of thing. And everybody, I want to say it was like everyone from everywhere in all walks of life and all classes, but that's bullshit. These people all like kind of, you know, it wasn't no broke ass people up in this thing, you know, unless they spent all their money on cocaine.
And there weren't any people of color.
No, it was not. But that's what I'm saying. That was part of my question about. That was kind of my question about, you know, like, you know, we talked about Paris is Burning, and, you know, these people had to create their own families because their own families didn't accept them, and the houses formed because, you know, if your real family throws you out, you build your own, you create your own. These people were not hurting for, you know, I don't think these people were really hurting for a whole lot in that, you know, regard. But still, I did enjoy it, so that's why I rated it as high as.
And that's what's important, that someone enjoyed it.
Yes, someone enjoyed it.
Just not me.
They made it. They showed it in the theater, and it wasn't Showgirls. Okay. So, that being said, it's time for everyone to report back to their cabins. Your bunk beds are waiting for you. Join us next time for a brand new installment of Summer Camp. Once again, here's one of our campers on our PA system with a few announcements on how you can interact with us via social media.
Thank you for the intro. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Poppy Chula Radio Summer Camp and subscribe. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/PCR Summer Camp. Follow us on Tumblr, summercamp-pcr.tumblr.com. Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, and YouTube at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Help support Poppy Chula Radio financially by visiting GoFundMe.com/PoppyChulaRadio. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality or blog contributor? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Now, back to you, camp counselors.
Thank you. My fellow camp counselors, please wish our campers and the listeners a good night.
Good night, campers.
Where my hot dog at? My spicy hot dog.
Spotted.
It's being served along with your spotted dick. And
it's an English delicacy.
Well, it's English.
Thanks for tuning in. Good night and lights out.